Good day, guys. How are you? How are you? Hope you're well. Hope you're doing good. Thank you for joining me for yet another episode of Talking All Things OHS with myself, Jasper. It's always a pleasure just to come and talk to you, just engage with you on different topics which are to do with occupational health and safety. Now, on this episode, I just want to do a quick touch on few elements of the Health and Safety Act, which are very, very critical, which I want to just to ventilate. And in this particular section, I just want to talk about Section 37.2 of the Health and Safety Act. Section 37.2 of the Health and Safety Act, which speaks of issues to do with contractors on site. Now, as a safety officer, you will have contractors come on site to come and do work at your premises. As a CEO of a company, as a 16.2, 16.1, GMR2, you will have contractors come to your premises to do some work. Now, it's important to make sure that you handle them the right way. Now, before I go to section 37.2, let's backtrack a bit to section 9 of the Act, which speaks of duties of employers to non-employees, or duties of employers to persons other than your own employees. Now, the Health and Safety Act in section 9 says the employer has a duty. In fact, let me backtrack even more to section 8. Section 8 of the Act speaks of duties of the employer to employees. So you, as an employer or employer representative, as a safety officer, you have duties to do to your employees. That's fine. Then section 9 then says, besides your employees, you guys have a duty to take care of the health and safety of persons other than your employees. That is, any other person who is not your what? Your employee. That's what the Act says. Now, when we're talking about those people who are not your employees, we're talking of visitors, we're talking of contractors, we're talking of the courier guy coming to deliver pizza, coming to deliver a document. We're talking about all sorts of people besides your employees. Now, the Act says your undertaking, your business activities must not put the health and safety of those people at risk. A person who is not your employee, their health and safety must not be put at risk. So you have a duty to make sure that any other person who comes into your premises, you have a duty to make sure that they are safe and without risk. And here's where the cookie crumbles. If anything happens to those people while they are in your premises, you are responsible for that, including contractors, including this, that, and the other. Now, we understand visitors. You'll be responsible for them. Courier guy, etc., etc. But there are contractors who come on site. Now, contractors, they come with their own people. They come with their own culture. They come with their own systems. They come with their own behaviors. Sometimes even someone doesn't even do training on them. They pick them by the corner there, by builders, or, here in South Africa, we have got corners where you can pick some guys who do tiling, who do electrical work, who do construction work, and they are contractors, and they come to your premises. The best you can do is just induction. You do induction on them, but you don't know their culture. You don't know how they behave. You don't know if they take shortcuts. You don't know anything. Now, you do not want such a situation where contractors come into your site and whatever they do, you'll be responsible for them. So what does the Act do? The Act gives a provision in section 37.2 to say that the employer gets into an agreement with the mandatory. That's what the term which is used in section 37.2, it speaks of a mandatory. If you go to section 1 of the Act, it will define what a mandatory is, and it will tell you that contractors are the mandatory. So section 37.2 says the employer must get into an agreement with the mandatory, with the contractor, as to the arrangements on how the mandatory, which is the contractor, is going to operate and behave and function while they are in your premises. So it's very critical. This is what this episode is about really. It's just to say, please, if you have got contractors who will come to your premises as a business owner, as a contractor, as a sort of business owner, employer, or a safety officer, make sure that they sign a 37.2 agreement with you. You give them a simple document and you just write there, ask the company represented by so and so, get into an agreement with this contractor that they'll follow the following rules and regulations. Then you tell them the list to say that, guys, you are a contractor coming to work on site, you are coming to do plumbing. When you come into our premises, this is what we expect to you. Number one, always wear PPE. Number two, no shortcuts. Number three, when incidents happen, report them. Number four, this. Number five, this. Number five, seven, do risk assessments, do this, do that, do that. And you tell them a whole list of things which you require them to comply with while they are working in your premises. And if ever they flounder, they fumble, they drop the ball with regards to these things you have listed, liability will not be yours, but it will be theirs. Liability will be theirs. Does it make sense? So it's something to protect your backside. 37.2 says, let there be an agreement between the mandatory and the employer as to the arrangements on how the mandatory will behave, will operate while they're in your premises, so that you tie them down to ensuring that they do what has to be done and they do what has to be done. Very, very critical. That's section 37.2. So we include the 37.2 in safety files. We include it even if you don't require a safety file, but just have that document, make sure that they sign it, and that's very critical. It will help you a lot when dealing with contractors. It's a provision in the Act just to protect you and make sure that you are covered there. That's very, very critical. Hope that makes sense. Hope that adds value to you. Thank you for joining me for these episodes. They are always sharp and short and straight to the point, and I hope it adds value to you. Otherwise, thank you for joining me. If you have any training needs, any consulting needs, anything to do with health and safety, give us a shout. Sales at Ndebele and Partners or jasper at ndebeleandpartners.com, and we'll be able to assist. Thank you very much, guys. You have a great day, and keep well as we operate in this field of health and safety. Bye-bye.